Thank you. Moving on to number 12, groundwater wall abandonment phase 2 project.
Okay, so for some history on this project, in 2001, the city purchased the Hillcrest Water Company, which had 16 wells. Through the recently completed water master plan, we evaluated all 16 of these wells and determined that many of them need to be abandoned. There are only 3 wells that we felt like we could maintain for future emergency services. And I just want to note with that, if we had, there would be costs to bring those wells back online, but we felt like the benefit of maintaining them exceeded the cost it would take to bring them back online. So for now, they sit dormant, but if we ever got into a situation where we needed to utilize them as emergency supply, it wouldn't take very long to bring them back online. The abandonment of the wells was divided into 2 phases. Phase 1 was completed in early 2020 and included 8 wells. And then we're proposing wells 3, 4, and 7 be completed as part of the phase 2 project. The reason that these particular wells were separated out into phase 2 is because it's a much more complex project than the other 8 wells. The location of the wells, one is on, it's deceiving to say it's wells. These are wells that are located on treatment sites. And so you can see here that there's a water storage tank, a backwash tank, there's filters, there's control room, chemical storage, booster pumps, a lot of on-site piping. And so to say it's a well site, it's much more than that. And there's also some contamination that needs to be addressed. And so as part of that's one of the well sites. The next well site similarly has a water storage tank, backwash tank, again, booster pumps, control room, chemical storage, pressure tanks. And so part of the scope of work would be to remove all of the surface items, remove the subsurface piping, remove the contaminated areas, and then basically get the sites to a point that they could be disposed of as surplus property. So what we are requesting tonight is to approval of plans and specs and authorize us to bid. The proposed timeline would be to advertise for bids this month, open bids in June, and bring it back to council in July for an award. And this would be out of CIP account number 1145, which is groundwater well abandonments. The engineer's estimate's $470,000. Just on the surface, I think of 2 sites, $470,000. That's a lot of money. But when you look at the complexity of the 2 sites, there's a significant amount that has to be addressed. When we sell the sites, we will be able to recoup some money. It's not going to come anywhere near the $470,000. And so at this point, I would recommend that we go ahead and advertise for bids, open bids, and see how the bids come in. And then we can evaluate when we bring the bids for council to see if this is something that we want to move forward with. The pitfall of not moving forward with it is that, as mentioned previously, we purchased these sites in 2001. These sites were operational for a while, but when we converted over to surface water, they were no longer utilized. And so we continue to maintain these properties. And the longer that we maintain them, they continue to be a liability to the city. And so there's a lot of benefit to, clearing them, disposing of them, and having them off the books. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Diana, what is it involved with maintaining the sites?
For those sites, if you drive by, particularly the one along Highway 99 is very visible. And if you'll notice, like the covering is tattered. If somebody were to get on site, there's a lot of things that they could get into. Weeds. We get a lot of complaints from the neighbors about weed abatement, about rodents living on the properties. And so it's more so you have the physical maintenance related to the weeds and that type of thing. But then also there's just a lot on site that, could be, there's steel tanks and that type of thing that we'd want to address.
All right. Thank you. Any public comment?
None received.
All right. Here we go again.
You're the mayor?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion on the groundwater well abandonment phase 2 project to adopt a resolution approving the plans and specifications for the groundwater well abandonment phase 2 project and authorize advertisements for the bids on the project.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much.